Welcome back to Terror by the Bay. I'm David. All right. So Merrick Garland the other day had an interesting point he wanted to bring up to Eileen Cannon. So Eileen Cannon, as you recall, has dismissed the Mar-a-Lago Documents Case under the guise that Jack Smith was incorrectly appointed as a special counsel. And that was dictated to her in a personal letter attached to a Supreme Court ruling by Judge Clarence Thomas. Well, Merrick Garland responded to that. And his quote was, "For more than 20 years, I was a federal judge. Do I look like somebody who would make that basic mistake about the law? I don't think so. Our position is that it's constitutional and valid. That's why we appealed." You know, I want you to think about that. Merrick Garland is very quiet, sort of laid back, he doesn't seem like he's the type of person that really wants to lock horns in confrontation, much less cast shade on somebody. That's kind of doesn't seem to be his jam. But it's funny until Eileen Cannon. And then it's like, you're looking at this woman who doesn't appear to know what she's doing. She has little to no experience, and she's making rulings that are horrific. That, again, this guy was a federal judge for 20 years and was nominated for the Supreme Court, but never got to go through the appointment process, courtesy of Mitch McConnell. So this is not a dummy here. He's just looking like, and you think I'm the idiot? He also mentioned, till now, every single court, including the Supreme Court, has considered the legality of a special counsel appointment and has upheld it. This goes back, why do you appoint a special counsel is because you're trying to avoid the appearance of bias. And this would be a attorney general in a Democratic administration investigating a Republican former president from the previous administration. So it's understandable why you would appoint a special counsel or somebody to that. Could he have done it without it? Probably. I mean, let's face facts. The Republicans are going to howl regardless. They're going to howl that if you have somebody, the Justice Department do it, they're going to say it's a partisan attack. And if you appoint a special counsel, they're going to say he's not qualified. They will always move the goalposts. They will never accept anything they don't want to accept. They're just a bunch of babies. So stop giving them airtime. Suck the oxygen out of the room. Tell them that's the way it's going to be. And they're going to scream and pitch a fit regardless. But let's look at the energy around the Mar-a-Lago Documents case and the appeal. The appellate court did say they will take this up. Okay? I don't recall seeing a date. I don't know if a date's been set, but they will take it up. Okay, entertainment purposes only. Foundation of the reading is the Ace of Cups. As I was mentioning in my opening monologue, it appears that Merrick Garland is upset by this. And I think it takes a lot to upset this man. But Eileen Cannon has managed to do it, has managed to bring out some passion and some shade and snark out of this guy. Crossed with the Seven of Coins. You reap what you sow. Your chickens are going to come home to roost. Merrick Garland is the type of person who will look at that bush for hours before ever deciding to pick a berry or how he's going to prune it. I think once he makes up his mind, though, he's very committed to doing what he needs to do. And looking at Eileen Cannon's decision has angered him because the implication is that he acted rashly and without any type of thought or pondering of the consequences. And that's, if you wanted to insult Merrick Garland, that's how you do it. It's not like, oh, Merrick Garland took 2 years to get started with the event. That doesn't bother him. He's made up his mind and he's rolling, and now you're saying he didn't consider all the facts. That's how you get under Merrick Garland's skin. So underneath all is a Two of Wands. I think Eileen Cannon's about to find out. I think he's going to have a lot of passion about winning this case. This case means a lot to him. In the past, you got the Five of Swords. Again, Merrick Garland is not the type who forces his will on others. He ponders things. He considers things. He looks at all angles. He doesn't want to come across as like a partisan hack. Now, mind you, that didn't stop William Barr or Jeff Sessions or other attorney generals or acting attorney generals under Donald Trump. But Merrick Garland's a different beast. Current situation is the King of Swords. The little chuckle for those playing at home who maybe don't know this, the King of Swords is my designated Jack Smith card. Why is it designated? Because whenever I started reading on Jack Smith, this card kept coming up. And Jack Smith, again, is a cold-blooded assassin. He is all intellect, all business, all the time. An intense personality. The man runs triathlons. He is mentally tough, mentally focused. Triathlons, I have never run a triathlon. In fact, I don't think I've ever done a biathlon. But I have trained in all three sports. Just maybe two at a time, never all three at a time. And I've done distance swimming. I've done distance cycling. And you really get into your head. You have to be mentally strong in trying to, like if I go on a bike ride up to Mount Hamilton to go to Lick Observatory, that's going to take me a couple hours to go from the base of the road all the way up to the observatory. And it's pretty much, it's like a 20-mile ride, 17 miles of it is uphill. And I don't like the 2.5 to 3 miles of flat and downhill, because if you're going downhill, it means you have to go uphill again. And I've worked too hard to get up the first hill. There's basically two hills. There's a foothill and then the mountain behind it. But it takes a lot of mental strength to get through there. It's hot. There's no shade. And, you're wondering, why did this seem like a good idea an hour ago when you started this journey? But when you get to the top and you get to the one house that has their little garden hose out there for cyclists to go refresh themselves and refill their water containers, and thank you for whoever owns that house from the bottom of my heart for the few times that I've done that ride for your hose. I really do appreciate it. And then the ride back is like an hour and 15 minutes. And that one takes mental toughness, because you're fatigued and you're not pedaling. And so you're just relaxing, but you're still on switchbacks, and there's bare mountain cliffs over the side on right turns, and on left turns, they've planted cactus on the outside of the turn. So if you don't watch your speed, you could swing into the wrong lane. If there's a car coming, you're going to get hit by a car, or you're going to go over the cliff and go down 100 feet into the rocks. Or if you're making a left turn, you might eat it, and then you go flying into cactus. Why did I do this again? But anyways, Jack Smith, he's got a lot of mental toughness, and he's a very smart, strategic person. And he's the one overseeing this Mar-a-Lago Documents Case. Current situation, or the overarching energy, is the Knight of Wands. Merrick Garland's upset. Jack Smith is probably not real happy, but they're going to go through this process step by step. They will go through the appellate court, and they will get this overturned in the appellate court. If it goes to the Supreme Court, Judge Thomas, I'm really wondering if Judge Thomas should recuse himself, because he's clearly not unbiased in this endeavor. He might be an extremist, and it's going to be interesting to see how the Supreme Court decides they're going to overturn all special counsels going all the way back to Nixon. Hunter Biden's already filed motions to have his charges dropped because it was brought against by a special counsel. So how do you all want to play this? Lesson to be learned is the King of Pentacles. I think in the end of the day, Merrick Garland, he's evaluated everything. He's holding the most valuable position and the strongest position in this. You've got Jack Smith. You got Merrick Garland. He's reviewed these things. think he's going to come out on top on this one. Yeah, there we go, in the star card. The appeals court's going to overturn this. We can look to see. No, this is the calm after the star is the calm after the storm. So, what does that tell me? I think he's going to come out on top, and he's going to be just a little smug about it. You know, I'm not saying he throws shade, but if Merrick Garland, if the rumor was out there that he sent a condolence card and some lilies to Eileen Cannon, I would just kind of smile quietly to myself. You know, sorry about your decision and it being overturned. You know, here's a funeral wreath and a condolence card, because that's where your career is about to go with this when this gets overturned. All right. Obviously, if the appeals court overturns this, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals overturns this, what's next? One of the two sides is going to appeal it to the Supreme Court. If the appeals court rules in favor of Jack Smith, then Donald Trump's team is going to be the ones appealing it. That's the most likely course of action. Will the Supreme Court actually take up this case? Do they want to? 9 of Wands. They sure don't. They know it's coming. The Supreme Court knows it's coming. I'm only going to do a 4-carder on this one. And they're not happy that this is coming. You can start with Clarence Thomas. All eyes are on Clarence Thomas. Of the 9, you're the idiot that started all this. You're the disappointment. You're the embarrassment. You're the reason why this is even a thing. Will they take it? Possibly. They may send it packing. They may take it, though. Will they take it? I think they will, because it's just another way to delay things for Donald Trump. It's another favor that they're granting him. But they know they have to be really careful, because all eyes are on them. And Biden's talking about revamping the Supreme Court. And they'll do Trump another favor here, but they don't want to. They would have just as soon this case get tied up. If they don't take it, it's because things have happened with Trump that bails them out, and then they don't have to take it. But I don't think Trump is going to be out of the woods yet. And here's the thing. With the Mar-a-Lago Documents case, it only benefits Donald Trump. There's nobody else. I mean, well, Walt T. Nada and Carlos de Oliveira, a couple of nobodies. No offense to their families. But compared to like the Georgia RICO case and the January 6th insurrection case, which are going to have high-level members of government involved in it, and the spouses of those high-level government officials, those are big-ticket names. Carlos de Oliveira, the head of maintenance, and Walt T. Nada, a body man, basically a butler. No, I mean, Mr. Teixeira, the private, the airman that shared secrets on Discord and spending 20 years of his life, he's pretty much a nobody too. No, he's no more important than these other guys. So if the Supreme Court takes this, they're taking it for Donald Trump's sake. They could just let the 9th Circuit, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals order stand. Okay, so if they take this case, how are they going to rule? What's the energy going to be like around the Supreme Court should they take this case? They might actually rule on it fairly quickly. This is about broadcasting, things moving quickly, things going overseas. I was only going to plan to do a 4-carder. The World card, yeah, I think with so much precedent behind it and the impact on all these other cases, that they can take it, but it's going to be like an 8-1 decision. You know what I mean? And there's the 8. They cannot believe that they're going to have to rule on this. They are just, they're being forced to debate and rule on this because of Clarence Thomas. but there's going to be a celebration. And I think this is the 3 liberal justices understanding that they know how they're voting. They're going to basically say special counsels are part of it, and the other 5 conservatives making up the 8 are going to realize their hands are tied. They can't do anything with this. It is so obvious there to help Donald Trump that they just cannot do anything about it. This case ends quickly and forcefully. I don't think, and with that 8 of Wands, that's the difference between this and the presidents aren't kings ruling. This is going to be something that they rule on quickly because the special counsel impacts all sorts of other cases and will quickly start swamping the courts with these requests. So they're going to have to respond quickly to this. And in the end of the day, by the time it's all said and done, the election will be upon us, and it's not going to make a difference on the election. Donald Trump will not be tried for this case prior to the election. He may be sentenced by Judge Merchan on September 18th prior to the election, but this case won't make it to the Supreme Court until right around election time, or maybe even a little bit after the election, that sort of thing. If it happens after the election and Kamala Harris has won and Donald Trump's lost, that could explain why it's a quick decision, because they don't need to protect Donald Trump anymore. And that's all you're doing is protecting him. We'll leave it here. Thank you very much for watching this video and supporting my channel. I hope you found this reading insightful, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.